After traveling for an hour on the bus, they arrive at the location and rest for a bit. Yuno grabs a cola and gives it to Yuki. On the other side, Aki goes to Yuki's house but soon finds out he is not here. He meets up with Nishijima and explains the situation. As a young aspiring detective, Nishijima already knows Aki and trusts his skills. He shares the information he found in Kei's diary. In the diary, everything about the survival game was written, from rules to the number of players along with the ones whose identities have been revealed. It was also mentioned how Yuki has been targeted by every diary owner. So it's very likely that by following them, they can stop any future incidents. As of now, Nishijima knows both of them are headed to the mountains, but doesn't know the exact location. After thinking through the bus route they took and Yuno's thought process, Aki gets a clue where they might be. So tomorrow, along with others, he meets up with Nishijima at the town he suspects they are hiding. There, Nishijima introduces himself as a police and shares about Yuki being currently held by Yuno. Everyone in a worried tone asks the reason she would do it. Nishijima doesn't disclose everything. He tells them it's Aki's hunch after he went to investigate Yuno's house. He requests their assistance in finding them. Because if he uses the police, Yuno will get alerted and will run away. Soon they begin searching the town. The reason Aki chose this town is because as per the route Yuno and Yuki took, this town is abandoned. So it's easier for Yuno to hide Yuki without leaving any witness behind. But because they need water and electricity, so they only have to find hotels that still have those. As everyone begins to search such hotels, they come across traps set up randomly by Yuno. Aki receives a call from Nishijima about a hotel which is owned by Yuno's family. On the other side, Hinata receives a mail from Yuki, requesting her to help him. She receives the location and immediately heads there. Mao meets up with Aki and tells him what happened. Aki is suspicious because no matter what Yuki writes, Yuno will find out about it using her diary. So he believes it's a trap and Hinata is in danger. But just then, Mao receives a message from Hinata that she has found Yuki. Aki is still suspicious, but he also cannot sit idle. So after arriving at the hotel, they finds a room in which Yuki is being tied up. Aki tries calling him, but Yuki doesn't respond. Thinking he might be unconscious, he goes inside the room with Mao, leaving Ko behind in case something goes wrong. As he enters the room, he soon finds out it's a dummy. And as Ko also enters the room, the door closes. Soon, the room starts getting filled with gas. The scene shifts to a room where Yuki is being held in. Even though his eyes are open, he doesn't have any reaction. Yuno has picked this hotel because it's her father's, meaning she has full access to it. From here, she can keep an eye on the diary owners and police if they attack them. Here, she is willing to spend their entire life together. Just then, Aki looks at the camera and tells Yuno about knowing the 2 skulls she has brought with her. Aki went back to her home and found out human remains of 3 bodies inside the hole. Surprisingly, 2 of them didn't have any skulls. Yuno becomes furious and yells at Aki for waking up her parents. Aki assures her he has given them a proper burial, but he is curious about the 3rd body. Aki threatens Yuno to release everyone, or else he'll inform the police. Yuno is amused to hear it and cuts off the call. And now, the gas starts filling more quickly than before. Ko is freaking out. After the recent events, just like Yuki, he also started making a journal. Now on seeing his death, he starts writing his last message, but strangely the diary upgrades and welcomes him as the 8th diary owner. As he reads it, they find out the way to break free from this room. As they follow the diary's instructions, Yuno and Yuki's diary's future also starts to change. As Yuno picks it up to read it, Ko just barges inside the room. Yuki soon starts getting back to his senses, but still, he doesn't have any strength to speak. He starts to remember how he ended up here. After drinking the cola Yuno gave him, he fell unconscious. And after gaining back his consciousness, he tried getting away, but with Yuno here, he just couldn't. Back in the present, Ko tells Yuno to release everyone because according to his diary, he is going to succeed in it. Strangely, Yuno easily agrees to do so. She throws the operation panel's key towards him, and Ko uses it to unlock the room Aki and Mao are trapped in. But as he turns back, Yuno fires the crossbow. As she approaches to kill him, a new entry is made and she soon notices Yuki is freed. Yuki takes back the crossbow and slaps her. Since Yuno's diary only tells what Yuki does, he made Hinata kick the key Yuno dropped and freed himself. As Yuki starts untying Hinata, he is notified about 3 diary owners on their way to this hotel. Without any delay, he meets up with Aki and Mao. Yuno begs Yuki to not leave her alone because she cannot live without him. But Yuki gives her a pissed look and leaves the hotel. Nishijima picks them up. On the way, a car passes by in which there are the 3 diary owners. They notice Yuki but still doesn't turn back the car. Back in the hotel, Yuno gets ready and heads out to protect Yuki. The following day, Yuki meets up with others and shares after yesterday's meeting with Deus. It was revealed that the 8th diary owner can create multiple subsidiary owners using a server. And since there is only one real diary, destroying a subsidiary diary doesn't lead to their death. Just then Yuki is notified about other diary owners coming to his home in 3 days. While Aki and others are forming a plan, Yuki has to stay at home and communicate via radio. At night, a lot of noise is coming from the kitchen, so with caution Yuki goes to check. He is relieved to know it's his mother and not Yuno. Ria has returned home to stay for a few days. As they start eating dinner, Yuki finds it weird to see there is too much food for 2 people. Ria tells him it was also for Yuno, but after preparing the dinner, she left. Yuki is scared as hell. After 2 days, Yuki is taken to Ko's house with police providing protection. As they enter the house, everyone is amazed to see how huge it is. The reason Aki chose this place is because it has a cell tower. Meaning that if it's turned off, the 3 subsidiary owners will not be able to use the diary as they will lose their connection with the server, and then it'll be easier to take them down. As hours pass by, finally the police report the 3 targets breaching the mansion. Suddenly, the light is cut off and now the remote to control the cell tower isn't working. Seeing the plan falling apart, Yuki begins to panic, wondering how anyone can know about their plan. But he soon notices it's Yuno who has returned. Yuno has cut off electricity, so only she can protect Yuki. With no other choice, Aki invites Yuno up. After tying her up, together with Ko, he goes to disable the cell tower. Soon, the 2 diary owners named Maru and Ahi enter. Maru is well versed in combat and easily takes down Nishijima. And because his diary predicts the next move his opponent makes, he has a huge advantage. Realizing they have no chance of winning in combat, everyone goes to hide until the cell tower is disabled. But with Ahi's diary, she easily gets the location of any person she will flirt with in the future. So they quickly go to their location and take down Mao and Hinata. Yuno pushes Yuki and quickly closes the door. Before they break the door, she requests Yuki to untie her. But Yuki refuses. After he truly wanted to marry her, Yuno locked him up and betrayed his feelings. Soon, Maru breaks the door. However, Aki has disabled the tower, so Maru and Ahi's diaries are disconnected. But despite this, they start laughing because they are also the 7th diary owners. Yuno tells Yuki she truly loves him and promises she'll never lock him up. Yuki finally unties the rope, and with it, Yuno grabs the knife. Maru and Ahi are lovers, so their diary shows the future of each other. Meaning, this battle is to see whose love is stronger. Ahi throws her knife, but Yuno easily blocks it. And as Yuki praises her for it, Yuno becomes excited and keeps on blocking every knife. After all of the knives are emptied, Maru and Ahi retreat and take away Mao and Hinata outside to treat their wounds. Suddenly, the whole house starts to lit up in fire. Afterwards, they enter the house. On the other side, as Yuki is escaping, he clarifies to Yuno that he still doesn't trust her. But Yuno doesn't mind it, because as long as she can be useful, it's enough to make her happy. All Yuki has to do is to command her, and she'll do it for him. Soon they have an encounter with Ahi and Maru. Yuno charges at them, but against their coordination, Yuno is taken down. Maru is furious to see instead of protecting Yuno, It's Yuki who is being protected despite being a man. He takes his phone and furiously asks what kind of love is it. Yuki admits he is weak and that he has no other choice but to rely on Yuno. Maru, with a disgusted look, tells him to die and throws him off the floor. After Yuno goes unconscious, we go back to 14 years ago. In the Sakurami tower, Ahi was abandoned by her parents. She waited for hours but no one came. That day she met Maru, who was also an orphan. As they grew up, no matter where Maru went, Ahi stayed close to him. At first, Maru didn't like how clingy Ahi was, but he still decided to spend time with her. As time passes by, Ahi eventually falls in love with him, but doesn't confess and keeps holding on to her one-sided crush. However, in the school, some of the girls start believing Ahi and Maru are dating. And the fact Ahi pretends to be the unluckiest girl despite having a boyfriend made them jealous and angry. So in order to teach her a lesson, they use Maru's name and call her to the abandoned factory. Ahi arrives, but on seeing Maru hasn't arrived yet, she messages him. Soon after, instead of Maru, a bunch of boys enter the factory. They were told by the girls about Ahi not having any parents, so it's fine for them to have their way with her. On the other side, Maru reads the message. He is confused and tries calling, but when Ahi doesn't respond, he begins to panic and rushes there. He arrives there, but it's too late. In anger, he beats everyone to a pulp and eventually kills them. After realizing what he has done and despite it, he wasn't able to protect Ahi, Maru tries to take his life. But Ahi stops him and begs him to not leave her like her parents. Maru apologizes and promises that from this day onwards he'll protect her and will never leave her side. Back in the present, Yuno and Yuki's diaries have been taken away and they are currently being treated in a hospital. As per Aki's plan, Nishijima has invited Mine, and a lie has been told to Yuki that Mine knows a way to beat Maru and Ahi. Because this way, Maru, who has Yuki's diary, has been notified about this false information, and just to be cautious he is not destroying the diary in order to gain more info. While Mine takes care of Yuki's recovery, surprisingly, Yuki's father, Kuro, also visits the hospital. Someone told him his son was in hospital, so he came to check on him. As they start to spend time together, Yuki, who was earlier in the dark about their parents' divorce, finally gets to know that his father is in a huge debt, and because of this, he isn't able to return home. But Kuro promises Yuki that he is working on it, and will soon return home, so the whole family can watch the stars like he wanted. In the evening, while Yuki is still doing his recovery, at the hospital, Kuro is desperately searching for something. After he receives a call, we get to know Kuro has been ordered by someone to destroy Yuki's cell phone in return for his debt to be paid off. Yuno happens to hear it. The following day, Nishijima arrives at an orphanage which is run by Yoshita, who is also the 8th diary owner. Suspecting the culprits behind destroying Ko's mansion are here, he has come to raid it. Back at the hospital, as Yuno is about to get rid of Kuro, Yuki stops her and asks what's gotten into her. Yuno shares what she heard yesterday, and that she believes the person ordered is the 11th diary owner. Yuki finds it absurd and doesn't believe Yuno. A few seconds later, Yuno is called up by Maru. After knowing Yuki's father knows the 11th diary owner, Maru threatens Yuno to bring him to the Sakurami tower or he'll break their cell phones. Yuno returns to the room and explains, in return for Yuki's cell phone's safety, they want Kuro to visit them. At first, Kuro is confused, but knowing the diary is with them, he agrees. Everything is according to Yuno's plan. She could have gotten rid of Kuro when she had the chance, but she purposefully acted in front of Yuki so Maru would be notified, and later she could have a chance of retrieving their diaries along with getting rid of Kuro and the 7th diary owners. After they arrive, the moment Kuro approaches Maru, he is taken down. Now with no use of Yuki and Yuno's diary, before he breaks it, Maru challenges Yuki to a duel so he can beat him for being a weak man who has to rely on his girlfriend to protect him. Yuki, seeing his father knocked down, gets furious and charges with all his strength, but Maru easily grabs him and throws him away. Soon, Kuro gets up. He picks up Yuki's phone and breaks it. Yuki is in disbelief. But he doesn't die. Just then, Yuno comes charging at Ahi and snatches away the bouquet in which the real phones are. The first time Maru showed them the phone, Yuno realized they were fake because they had no scratches. Yuno gives the phone to Yuki and tells him she is the only one he can trust. Kuro approaches Yuki and requests him to give the phone to him. He promises to gift him a much better phone once his debt is paid off. Yuki earlier believed that his father betrayed him, but now he understands his father doesn't know about the future diaries. Just then, the building starts to shake heavily, and the floor beneath Yuki breaks and he begins to fall. Both Yuno and Kuro rushes to save him. Yuno reaches in time and saves Yuki. However, Maru grabs Kuro and takes him away. Using the diary, Yuki finds out they are going to use a parachute to escape. In the Ueshida's orphanage, Nishijima is notified about the situation in the Sakurami Tower. He came here to search for the servers controlling the subsidiary diaries, but he wasn't able to find them. Back in the tower, Maru and Ahi are happy to see after such a long wait they are finally married. After arriving at the top floor, Yuno is standing in front. Then, Yuki's voice comes saying he is hiding because he is weak, so now Yuno will take care of the fight. Maru is pissed and charges at Yuno. He dodges her knife and kicks her. He takes her phone and gets to know Yuki's location. Maru goes to the room but finds out Yuki is not there. It's because the diary he has is a fake one. Meaning that Ahi is now in danger. As he goes out to warn her, Yuki throws his dart and misses. But Yuno kills her. Soon the building starts to collapse. Just then, Kuro snatches away the parachute and escapes, leaving Yuki in complete shock. Ria was earlier called by Nishijima about Yuki being stuck in the tower, so she came. On seeing Kuro in a parachute, she confronts him, demanding where Yuki is. Kuro doesn't want to admit he ran away like a loser and left his son dying, so tells Ria he doesn't know about anything and insists her to let him go. But when Ria doesn't, Kuro begins to panic. The scene shifts back inside the building. After the roof collapses, Yuno, Yuki and Ahi are stuck under a concrete block. Despite being stuck, Ahi is glad to know Maru is safe and can live on. But Maru isn't going to abandon Ahi. He keeps making the way despite being heavily injured. It's hard for him to lift the concrete block, so Yuki helps him and asks Yuno to help too. But Yuno doesn't want to, or else they will lose Ahi as their hostage. Yuki asks her if she really loves him, or if she is just a psychopath. He wants to trust her, but if she keeps ignoring what he says, then it's hard for him. Yuno drops the knife and helps. After making outside, Maru holds Ahi in his arms. He gives the parachute to Yuki and tells him to take care of the girl who loves him. After this, together with Ahi, he dies. Yuki and Yuno successfully land, but Nishijima comes and gives an unfortunate news about Ria's death. At night, Yuki is sitting in his room devastated to accept the reality. He tries asking Deus to bring back his mother, but Deus refuses. His life is soon going to end, and if the next god is not chosen before it, this whole universe will be destroyed. After Deus leaves, Murmur tells Yuki the only way to bring back his mother is by becoming a god. Back in the human world, Yuki gets to know it's his father who killed his mother. He confronts him and tells him to turn himself in. But Kuro laughs and asks if he has any proof of him doing so. Yuki notices a receipt from a pawn shop and wonders what is it. He decides to follow him to see if he can be led to any proof. The next day, Nishijima interrogates Yuno about the third body found at her home. But Yuno doesn't answer and leaves. So now, Nishijima has to wait until the DNA report comes in. On the other side, Yuki wakes up a bit late and goes straight to the pawn shop. He manages to find Kuro, and sees him getting in a car heading to the shrine. Yuki follows him, and as soon as he arrives, he snatches away the bag to see what's inside. There he notices, it's a telescope. Kuro has decided to turn himself in. Just before that, he wanted to make things right. He came here to ask for forgiveness, and after that, he was planning to return the telescope to Yuki that he pawned. Kuro promises Yuki that once he is done serving, he'll get a proper job to start over. Yuki forgives his father, But on the way a static noise comes and Kuro gets stabbed by a guard. Soon after, other guards surround Yuki and try to attack him. Yuki in anger eliminates them one by one using his diary. Soon after, Yuno also arrives. Yuki finally decides to become a god and eliminate every diary owner. While pointing the knife at Yuno, he threatens to kill even her. Yuno kisses Yuki. She wants to die by his hands, but before that, she wants him to use her until the very end. After a few days in the city hall, the mayor orders Yoshita's orphanage to be destroyed as they have been accused of harboring the man who caused the tower explosion. Everyone feels it's too cruel, but the mayor is firm with his decision with a promise to provide a home to the orphans. The scene shifts to the casualty cathedral where the owners insist Deus eliminate Yuno and Yuki because they haven't been attending the meeting for the past 5 days. And because Deus's death is near, the 11th diary owner wants to get rid of them. Deus agrees, and as he is about to eliminate them, just then Yuki together with Yuno arrives. He reveals the 11th diary owner's identity as their city's mayor. And it's absolutely correct. With this, Deus unhides everyone's identity. For the past 5 days, Yuki was in the lobby of City Hall gathering all sorts of news, events and data that were happening in their city. So the moment their city mayor passed the order to demolish Yoshita's orphanage, he immediately knew he was behind. After revealing this, Yuno and Yuki are planning to make an alliance with Yoshida and take on the mayor. According to Yuno, the mayor plans to get his hands on Yoshita's multiplier diary so he can increase his force. Yuki is glad to know he is getting a step closer to becoming a god. Yuno suddenly jumps and grabs Yuki. She wants him to kill every diary owner, so he can become god and then bring back his parents. On the other side, Nishijima is in shock to know the 11th diary owner is the mayor because, from today, he is on bodyguard duty for him. After this, Nishijima reveals that Yuno's parents were Ushio Gasai and Saika Gasai. Both of them were from an elite banking family. However, they didn't have any children, meaning Yuno was adopted. On the other side, Yuno and Yuki convince Yoshida to make an alliance, and now are planning to attack the mayor. Some of the Yoshida's children like Taro don't trust Yuki, but because they want to protect Yoshida they are willing to cooperate. As per the plan, Yuki will use tear gas and target the mayor. Rin will use her diary to direct other subsidiary owners. And lastly, Taro will protect Yoshida, and using his copy diary he will keep a watch on Yuki to see if there's no problem with the plan. As of now, everything is going to Yuno's plan. Rin, another subsidiary owner, gives a rice ball to Yuki. She first met him in the Omekida incident, and knows Yuki is not a bad person. And just like him, she expresses that their mother isn't a bad person either. She didn't want to become God, but it was they who requested her to so she could save this world and make it better. After eating the rice ball, finally, it's time to initiate the plan. As the mayor is approaching, they stop his car and use smoke to block the view. Then the subsidiary owners begin attacking the guards. However, soon a device pops out from the car that jams all the subsidiaries' phones. And surprisingly, Yuki is shooting down every subsidiary owner one by one. While on the other side, Yuno brutally gets rid of Rin and Taro. Everything is according to Yuno's plan. Yuki apologizes, but he promises to save everyone when he becomes the god. Yoshida manages to escape and gets in the mayor's car. Soon, Yuno and Yuki also get in the car and go after them. With this, they are planning to take down both 11th and 8th. But then, Yuno freaks out to know Aki has found out who the third body is. Yuno begins to worry. She destroyed every single evidence, but if this is true, she will definitely lose Yuki. But Yuki assures her, no matter what, he will not let go of her this time. Yuno attacks the tire, but with the help of the mayor's diary, they are able to evade attacks. With no other choice, Yuki just pushes the car off the highway. Yuno points the gun at him, but the mayor is unsurprised and soon Aki with Mine arrives. Aki gives a box to Yuki and tells him to open it. Yuki opens it, and it's an umbilical cord of Yuno. It was found in the orphanage she was in. And after comparing the DNA of the third body with it, they turned out to be a perfect match. Meaning, that the real Yuno is already dead. And this one right here is a fake one. Yuki is in disbelief. Yuno begins to panic. She promises that all are lying and she is the real one. Yuki hugs Yuno and promises he'll never doubt her. After they escape, the scene shifts to night. A meeting is called up to increase the protection for the mayor. Just after 30 minutes, Mine arrives at the location where the mayor is. It's a room which has the third most powerful supercomputer in Japan. The mayor wants Yoshita's multiplier diary so that he can turn every resident of this city into a future diary owner. And this way, he'll give birth to a kingdom where people have the ability to predict the future. Mine had enough of this insanity. She throws a grenade at the mayor, but surprisingly he catches it and throws it back. Nishijima sees the explosion and informs other officers. Fortunately, Mine safely escapes. But soon, the police start searching for her. Wherever she escapes, the police are strangely able to arrive before her. Mine starts wondering if the mayor also has a diary similar to Tsubaki's, which allows him to know about the future of those working for him. Before she is found out, Nishijima saves her and gives a false report to the other officers. Mine with a suspicious tone demands what are his intentions. Nishijima knows about the mayor's intention, and that's why he has decided to join her side. He takes out the ring and proposes to her. Mine isn't very familiar with what marriage is, so she has to think hard, and after realizing what it is, she quickly pulls away her hand, accusing him of being after her body and wanting to make babies with her. Nishijima bluntly replies yes, it's indeed true. Mine heavily blushes. She cannot take it anymore and walks away. She wants to destroy the computer before things become ugly. Nishijima stops her and promises he'll make her happy. Mine gets fed up and promises she will if he'll destroys the computer. Nishijima agrees. Inside the building, Yoshita finally reveals her multiplier diary. The mayor uses it and starts connecting it to the supercomputer. On the other side, Mine begins infiltrating using the flashbang. But to her surprise, the security is well prepared because of the mayor's diary. Soon after, the connection is complete. But Nishijima comes running and throws the grenade inside the room. Afterwards, both of them manage to escape. But Mine still suspects if they are really successful. Because if the mayor has a similar diary to Tsubaki, then he must have predicted Nishijima's action. She wonders if there is anything more to it. After fulfilling the promise, Nishijima hugs Mine, saying she belongs to him now. As he tries to kiss her, Mine also gives up on resisting. But just then a radio message comes about informing multiple crimes happening throughout the city. It's because the computer that was destroyed was only a part of the whole supercomputer. And as a result, everyone in the city has a future diary. People now know about the future movement of stocks, about when they will die and much more. In the cathedral, Deus is already at his limit and decides to take some rest. He realizes Murmur is planning something behind his back. Before he loses his powers, he is planning to do something. In a building, Hinata and others join Mine and Nishijima after Aki told them. Now they all have their own future diary. In Ko's diary, it mentions that 2 supercomputers named Holon are at the top of the quad towers. And they have to be destroyed at the same time. So for this, they all would have to work together. At first, Ko didn't want to help because of the things Mine did to his school. But if saving the city is by helping a criminal, he is ready to go. The next day, they arrive at the quad tower and split into 2 groups. The mayor is prepared and orders the guards to finish every single one of them. But to his surprise, the diary predicted wrong. It's because Mine finally realizes the mayor's diary's ability is to see into others' owners' diaries. That's why in the first place, he was aware of her, but when Nishijima took action, he wasn't able to stop her. So in order to fool him, Mine only needs to feed him a lie by writing a false entry. And with it, Mine with others are easily able to intrude. But the mayor has something up to his sleeve. As Mine and Nishijima are on the way, a bomb suddenly explodes and soon after Nishijima gets shot. As the guard continues to shoot, Nishijima blocks the bullets and saves Mine. Soon, Yuki comes and gets rid of the guards. With a smile, he apologizes for using Nishijima as bait. On the other side, Yuno is clearing the floors using a gun and a katana. After meeting up, as per the plan, Yuno goes to free Ko and others, while Yuki goes to get rid of the mayor. On the way, Mine points the gun at Yuki, threatening to kill him if he fails to eliminate the mayor after he used Nishijima as bait. Yuki doesn't say anything and heads towards the mayor. Soon he finds him, but the mayor gets inside the vault of the bank which used to be owned by Gasai, meaning Yuno's parents. Mine threatens the mayor's assistant and opens the door, but to their surprise, there is another one. And this can't be opened through a passcode or keycard. Seeing there is no way, Mine points the gun at Yuki. Nishijima was the only man who ever said he'd make her happy, and now she'll kill Yuki and avenge his death. As Mine shoots, Yuki dodges and escapes. Mine finds it pathetic to see Yuki's sole motivation to become God is bringing back his parents. She emphasizes that literally half of the population has lost their loved ones, and unlike her, he is grateful to be even able to remember the good memories. She lost her parents before she could even speak, and amid those crumbled buildings, she had to rely on stealing to survive. While Mine continues to speak, Yuki is in a tight position. He knows his death is certain. But even if he does something to change the future, the static noise will give away his position. While this is happening, the mayor is enjoying the show. He isn't afraid of anyone because the only way to open the second door is by using a retina scan. The only registered eyes are his, Yuno's, and her parents. But because Yuno's parents are dead and she is a fake one, no one can open the second door. On the other side, after freeing up Ko and others, Yuno finds Ueshida and tries to attack her. But Aki appears and blocks the attack. Just then, Yuno receives a new entry about Yuki's will. In it he has written that after he is dead, he wants Yuno to bring back his parents when she becomes the god. On the other side, Mine hears the static noise, but it's only the cell phone. Just then, Yuki shoots the gun. He didn't kill Mine because if possible he doesn't want to kill anyone. Mine quickly picks up the gun, and as she is about to shoot him, she sees an image of herself. Mine realizes Yuki is just like her. Lost his parents, desperate for help, and no one to help him. But she is taken down, as Yuki pulls the trigger in self-defense. After this, he goes to the vault. The mayor shares how boring Mine's death was. Considering she was an international criminal, he was hoping for more. But to his surprise, Mine is still alive. She has a bomb that will detonate when her heartbeat stops, and in front of it, even the vault is nothing. She locks herself in between the doors and tells Yuki to make everything right when he becomes a god. Before her death, Mine sees her parents and her younger self thanking her for this decision. Mine breaks the phone, and the bomb explodes. However, there isn't even a scratch at the vault. Just then, Yuno comes and tells Yuki to destroy the whole lawn in the south tower, while she keeps an eye on the mayor. Yuki agrees and leaves. Back in the vault, the mayor is fine with having only one Holan. But to his surprise, the vault door opens, and without any hesitation, Yuno just takes him down. On the other side, Yuki destroys the Holan and is notified about the mayor's death. He wonders how she pulled it off. Now, with the mayor dead, the only diary owner remaining is Ueshida, and as per promise, Aki will hand over her to Yuki. In Aki's home, Aki earlier believed it was better to hand over Ueshida to Yuki as he is the best person to become the god. But after seeing Yuno was able to easily unlock the door, he is having second thoughts. Aki knows Yuki's sole motivation is to become a god to bring back his parents. But as for Yuno, it's a total mystery. Just then, a black sphere-like thing appears on the rooftop. And not just Aki's home, it's all over the city. The world has begun to crumble. On the other side, Murmur is confused as to how Deus is dying so soon. As per her, the world was supposed to end on July 28th. She suspects he did something behind her back. Just then, Ueshida with Aki enter the cathedral. Murmur becomes furious to see a non-diary owner and tries to get rid of him, but Deus stops her. Aki asks if the person who becomes God will really have the power to reset everything. Deus replies that if he means by reset is dead coming back to life, then no, it's not possible. Aki knew he was right. Without wasting any more time, he returns to the human world to tell Yuki about it. Ueshita has created a subsidiary diary for Aki. Yuki and Yuno are on the way to retrieve Ueshita, when Yuno suddenly asks Yuki if he will be able to kill Aki and others if they betray him. Yuki refuses to answer because he trusts Aki. But as they arrive, they soon notice Aki has betrayed them and Ueshita with others is escaping. Yuno in anger stabs Aki. Yuki is in shock to read that Aki is dead. As Yuno approaches him, Aki is still alive. He was wearing a stab resistance vest. And afterwards, whatever Yuno tries to pull, Aki has a counter and easily blocks her attacks. On the other side, Yuki is confused as to how, despite what the diary is showing, Aki is still able to survive the attacks. He figures out that Aki also has a future diary, and warns Yuno to step back. Aki praises Yuki and reveals his subsidiary diary allows him to foresee the actions of the diary owners. Seeing this will take time, Yuno tells Yuki to go after Ueshita while she deals with Aki. Yuki agrees. On his way, he is in shock to see even Aki has betrayed him. Back in Aki's home, just like Aki planned, he is successfully able to stall Yuno, and now Hinata and others can tell Yuki about the truth. But surprisingly, Yuno just stabs herself. Now, if she dies, Yuki will be notified about her death, and no matter what others say, he will not trust them. Aki is now in deep thought. On the other side, Yuki arrives. Hinata comes and tries to convince him how from the very beginning, he is being manipulated by Yuno. She tells him that even if he becomes a god, he can't bring back people to life. Hearing this, Yuki is in shock. He starts laughing, and accuses Hinata of lying because a god can do anything. But after Hinata tells him it's Deus himself who said it, Yuki starts to freak out, realizing he can't bring back people he has killed. Just then, he receives a call. Aki on his way is trying to call Yuki, but he isn't picking up. It's because Yuno is on the line. She begs Yuki to save her or else Aki will kill her. She warns him that all of his fake friends are planning to betray him. Yuki checks his phone and confirms it's true. He points the gun at Hinata, and asks why they all are planning to betray him. Hinata tries to convince him that it's Yuno who is manipulating him, but Yuki pulls the trigger and kills her. Afterwards, when Mao calls him a coward who can't accept reality, Yuki also takes her down, alongside Ko. As he passes their body, he promises to bring them back once he becomes the god. Aki finally arrives. On seeing the dead bodies, he regrets treating Yuno's wound, because of which she was able to mislead Yuki, and as a result, everyone died. He tells Yuki that from the very start, Yuno pretended to be his ally so that later she would kill him and become a god. Just then, Yuno arrives. Suddenly, Aki kisses Yuki in front of her. As he goes to destroy her diary, Aki manages to destroy it, but strangely nothing happens. And Yuno ends up dealing a massive cut. On the verge of his death, Aki starts wondering how this is even possible. He knows the diary wasn't fake because, at the last second, he saw the static appear on the screen. But just then he realizes, Yuno's diary always referred to Yuki by his first name. But the one he destroyed referred to him by Amano, which is his family name. On the other side, Yuki asks Yuno how she is alive despite her diary being destroyed. Yuno assures him it was a fake. Yuki doesn't give it much of a thought and goes to eliminate Ueshita. Before her death, Ueshita requests Yuki to make a world where her children can live in peace. With her death, now it's only Yuno and Yuki remaining. On the other side, Aki is still barely alive. All this time he believed the dead body found in Yuno's house was the real one and the current one is a fake. But now, thinking back to how Yuno was able to unlock the vault, he finally understands the truth. His vocal cords are destroyed, so he tries to show Yuki a written message. As Yuno sees Aki approaching, she immediately beheads him, but still, Yuki reads the message. In the cathedral, Deus is dead and the core left behind is the last remaining power that is keeping the world intact until the 28th of July. Soon, Yuki and Yuno are notified about it. 3 days later, in Yuno's house, Yuki is much relaxed as he doesn't have to fear getting killed. By this time, he understands he can't bring back dead people, but the fact Aki warned him about Yuno killing him and the message he left behind is still bothering him. After dinner, as Yuki tries to go to his room, Yuno stops him. She starts crying, asking why he is not flirting with her. Yuno understands all she is good for is killing, but still after everything, she was hoping Yuki would fall in love with her, but even now he is going to sleep in another room. Yuno feels pathetic and goes to her room. Yuki can see how much she loves him, and just the thought of her killing him even after having enough opportunities seems unreal. Finally, it's the 27th of July, the day before the world is going to end. By now, Yuki feels bad for doubting Yuno, and now before the world ends, he wants to return her true feelings. For the first time, Yuki invites Yuno to have a bath together. Afterwards, they go into the room and make love. After 2 minutes, now that they have become one, Yuki requests Yuno to tell him the reason she lied about everyone coming back to life if he becomes a god. Yuno suddenly takes out her axe. She apologizes for lying. But she did it so Yuki would start looking to become the god. And now that they have finally eliminated everyone, for the last thing she wants him to kill her. But Yuki refuses. If becoming a god is by losing the person he loves, he doesn't want. Yuki is glad that they both can die peacefully, but he still wonders why Aki showed him that strange message. Yuno gets up and asks about it. Yuki shares that Aki believed Yuno was from the future and had already become a god. After that, she went back in time to come to this world and took the place of this world's Yuno by killing her. Suddenly, Yuno grabs the axe and attacks. All she wanted was a day with them being happy. But now, in this world also she will not be getting that. Yuno starts attacking. Yuki dodges the attacks and ends up in front of the hole. Just then Murmur appears and pushes him into it. After that, Yuki sees the past when he and Yuno had their first interaction. Murmur shares that by this time, Yuno had taken her revenge after she trapped them inside the cage and starved them to death. Yuno had no hopes for her future until she met Yuki, who gave her the hope. After this, Murmur shows how the first world ended. Yuno's dream was to become Yuki's wife, but it never became a reality because soon the survival game started and only one could have survived. After killing every diary owner, Yuno and Yuki choose to die together by taking poison. However, Yuno only pretended. She also believed by becoming a god she would be able to bring back Yuki, but she soon realized it wasn't possible. After being in a state of shock to not be able to see Yuki, she used her god powers to go back in time to the second world, when Yuki was still alive. Without any hesitation, she got rid of second world Yuno because she didn't want to share the love. On seeing this, Yuki gets emotional to realize the girl who promised to become his bride is no more. He desperately tries to help her, but Murmur tells him it's pointless because these are only visions. Strangely, on the verge of death, Yuno hears Yuki's voice and starts requesting him to help her. Murmur is in disbelief to witness this. She immediately cancels the illusion and they return to the present. A few things Murmur didn't tell Yuki was that she is also from the first world. Meaning, she is actually Yuno's servant. After Yuno came to this world and killed the second world Yuno, Murmur used her powers to erase a part of Yuno's memory. And the reason similar things didn't occur as happened in the first world was because Yuki opened the door in Yuno's house, because of which the truth about the second world Yuno came out. Eventually, Yuno slowly started to regain her memories, after which she started making small changes which ended up changing the whole timeline. Back in the present, Yuki confronts Yuno and asks the reason she is trying to kill him. For Yuno, she wanted to die at the hands of Yuki and help him become the god. But when Yuki refused to kill her and said he wanted to die together, Yuno couldn't accept it. If Yuki does not become god, then the whole universe will be destroyed. So to prevent the destruction, the deist from the past will not start the survival game and choose a different method to select the next god. And because of this, Yuno and Yuki's relationship will not be closer, and she will end up staying only a stalker. That's why, if Yuki doesn't kill her, she will kill him and become the god. This way she will prevent the world from ending and will go back in time to spend more days with that world's Yuki. She will do it infinitely. Hearing this, Yuki starts to freak out. Just then, Yuno uses her powers and Yuki starts to fall. He realizes what a grave mistake he has made for his selfish reasons. As Yuki loses the grip and falls, Murmur is about to declare Yuno as the winner, but then a static noise comes, showing Yuki is still alive. Minae makes a surprising entry and comes to Yuki's rescue. At first, Murmur was surprised, but then she realizes it's Deus's doing. Murmur with Yuno uses time leap and goes to the third world. Minae and Yuki quickly follow them. They arrive there and end up crashing into a building. The reason Minae is still alive is that at the time when Minae was about to disappear, Deus saved her and brought her to the place where even Murmur couldn't come. Deus was quick to realize that Murmur was not his servant, but because he was almost at his end, he transferred a part of his power and knowledge to Minae. As a person who has suffered the most, she was the rightful one to change the world for the good. Currently, they are in the third world and 2 years into the past. Meaning, the survival game has another year to take place. Just then, Yuki receives an entry of Yuno coming here to kill this world's Yuno. There is still 2 hours, so Yuki wants to save this world's Yuno. In this world, Yuno is being abused by her mother. Tsubaki's parents are about to head out in their car, and the mayor presents the idea of a future diary to Deus. But just then, Deus is notified about an anomaly. After some time, Yuki and Minae arrive at Yuno's home. Saika is out, so it's only Yuno in the home. Yuki opens the door and witnesses Yuno's terrible condition. Yuno is so starved that she is eating the wood from Tatama's mat and choking on it. Yuki immediately calls an ambulance, and the future changes. Minae is furious. They are here to stop Yuno and Murmur, but if they do anything else, it will change this world's future. Yuki knows it, but he just can't abandon Yuno. Just then, Yuno and Murmur arrive. Yuno has brought a sphere-like thing in which she has caught Yuki's parents from this world. Minae immediately takes off with both of them. Yuki sees his parents and wants to save them, but Minae is pissed and tells him his parents are dead. They have already changed the future by freeing Yuno and can't risk any more. They can't bring back anyone from their world, so they have to save this world's future by eliminating Yuno. Back at Yuno's home, the ambulance arrives. But among them, Ushio has also come. He received a call from the hospital, so he came here thinking his wife had done something again to Yuno. Yuno sees a glimpse of the past she suffered, and in anger, she stabs him and tries to get rid of others as well. But Murmur stops her. On the other side, Minae has some job to do, so she drops Yuki at the school and goes away. Yuki, while carrying Yuno, heads to the class where everything began. After putting her to safety, Yuno appears and immediately starts to attack. Yuki tries his best to avoid the attacks and go further, so this world Yuno isn't caught in the fight. Soon, Murmur starts using her powers to surround Yuki with spheres and make them explode. Yuki is barely able to dodge them. Yuno reads her diary, but she is confused as to what our true emotions are. While this is happening, Minae calls Kei and tells him to treat his son's illness before it gets worse. Minae broke her own rule to not change this world's future, but she wanted to keep the promise she made to Kei. Back in the school, Yuki has barely avoided death, but he is firm in his decision to convince Yuno to return to the second world. Yuno asks Yuki why is he getting in her way. Yuki replies it's because he loves her. Because of these words, Yuno gets flustered and misses hitting Yuki. As Murmur tries to attack, Minae arrives and starts fighting her. Thankfully, because of this, Yuki finally gets close to Yuno. He tries to convince her to leave this world and in return, he will die. But Yuno laughs, saying she loves him, that's why she'll not return. She uses a sphere and takes down Yuki. Using her powers, she traps Yuki inside a sphere, where Yuki finds himself with all the things he ever wanted. Yuno earlier wanted to kill Yuki and become the god, but she realized that she just couldn't. So now, she is trapping Yuki inside a sphere and leaving him in this world for eternity. Then she will become the second world's god and will return to this world to take part in the survival game. This is the best way to achieve her dreams without killing the person she loves. Before Yuki can say anything, the sphere closes. At the police station, Saika has come to report her daughter gone missing, but just then Kei is notified about the explosion happening at the school. Throughout the city, as the explosion becomes more frequent and louder, it starts to catch everyone's attention, including the diary owners. Back at the school, Minae brings beaten-up Murmur and is ready to fight Yuno. However, Yuno releases Murmur's limit, and now her power is off the charts. With this, like a vicious monster, Murmur beats Minae into a pulp, dealing a huge damage to her arm and finally taking her down. While this is happening, Yuki has completely forgotten about everything and is living the life he hoped. After having breakfast, the family heads out to watch the stars in the mountains. But strangely, he feels like there is someone important to him that he has forgotten about. Outside, with Yuki and Minae being taken care of, Murmur heals Ushio. As Yuno is about to kill this world's Yuno, she notices she is mumbling about requesting her parents to help her. Yuno finds it pathetic to see how innocent she is. Yuno shares what her future going to be. Her mother's mental state will worsen as her father will rarely visit home. Because of this, she will get more abused and all the hope she had for a happy family will vanish. But one day, she will get a chance to drug them with sleeping pills and then she'll shut them in the cage for revenge. After a month of starving, they'll die and like always she will be lonely. But the third world Yuno doesn't feel that way. She loves her parents and knows one day they will understand her. Yuno realizes she also used to think the same but wonders where things went wrong. Soon, the police and Saika arrive. On seeing her husband, she rushes to the roof. On the other side, Murmur is freaking out to see how rapidly the future is changing. Nishijima meets Minae way before they are supposed to. Tsubaki's parents were supposed to leave tonight but because of the explosions they didn't, and a bomb was found in their car which was planted by Funatsu. Because of this, Omekata, which was going to turn into an evil cult, now retains its aim to help the weak. Hojo's parents who were supposed to join Omekata didn't and stayed with Hojo. In the alleyway, the serial killer is caught by Hirasaka. In Hinata's house, Tsukishima realizes how much his daughter cares for the dogs and how she wants to learn to train them. In the orphanage, Yoshito receives a call from the mayor about funding her orphanage. It's because the future diary on which the mayor was working revealed to him about his death and how the winner instead of saving the world will travel back in time. Because of this, Deus decided to change the way to select the next god. And now, Murmur is freaking out because at this rate the survival game itself may never happen. Back inside the school, as Yuno tries to attack, just then Ushio comes in between and takes the hit. Soon after, Saika also comes and is glad to find her daughter. Yuno is in disbelief to see her parents worrying for her. Just then, Kei comes and points the gun at Yuno. Back in the sphere, Yuki finally remembers about Yuno. He feels sad to leave his parents, but he decides to choose Yuno over his lost dream. Back outside, Yuno starts to see herself as a villain. She is glad for this world Yuno, but she loves Yuki and for him, she must kill this world Yuno. As she rushes at her, Kei pulls the trigger, the second world Murmur stops the bullet, and Yuki breaks free and stops Yuno. While the second world Murmur takes care of the first world Murmur, Yuno is emotional to see Yuki choose her over his dream. Yuki tells Yuno she doesn't belong here. He requests her to kill him so she can go back to being the god of the second world. Yuno raises the knife and stabs herself. In the end, she just cannot kill the person she loves. Both of them share a kiss for the last time, and soon after Yuno dies. With this, Murmur declares the winner is Yuki, and without disrupting this world anymore, they head to the second world. And soon, the world regains the balance. 2 years later, the third world Deus is still alive because he didn't start the survival game, which was supposed to have consumed a lot of his powers. So now he has time to think about how to choose the next god. After receiving Deus' permission, Minae is now settled in this world. She and Nishijima are married and have 2 adorable children. Thanks to Minae, Kei's son is soon going to recover. Aki, along with others, enjoys taking care of Tsukishima's dogs. Tsubaki's parents are alive, and she hasn't gone through any of the traumatic things. Hojo is having a great time with his parents. Ueshita and the mayor are a couple. Maru and Ahi are married and soon going to have a baby. And lastly, Yuno is close friends with Aki and others. After the school was destroyed, she transferred to a different school and hence never had the chance to meet Yuki. But despite it, she feels like there is something precious to her that she has forgotten about. The scene shifts at night. Yuno is talking with her imaginary friend about how she feels like some of her memories are missing. Suddenly, Yuno finds herself in the cathedral. Murmur is alerted about the infiltration and goes to stop her from proceeding further. But just then, Mine comes. She tells Yuno to go ahead to regain her memories while she takes care of Murmur. Yuno starts running, and on the way, she starts to remember a boy who was very close to her. She enters a sphere-like room and finds the first world Murmur who is in captivity. On the other side, Deus comes and stops Murmur and Mine's fight. The fact that Yuno traveled to this dimension is enough to prove it's her fate to meet the person she loves. All this time, Yuno's imaginary friend was First World Murmur. Before she was sealed, Murmur absorbed Yuno's core, which ended up transferring her memories to her. As a result, she started to sympathize with her and was trying her best to communicate with the Third World Yuno. As the servant of First World's Yuno, Murmur requests Yuno to take all the memories of her master. They include happy memories as well as tragic and painful ones. Despite this, Yuno takes it and remembers everything about Yuki. On the other side, it has been 10,000 years since Yuki became the god of space and time. He doesn't know what happened to the Third World after he left, but he hopes Yuno and others were able to live a peaceful life. He has the powers to create a new world but doesn't want to because there would be no Yuno. All he has is his diary with the last entry in it. Just then, the future changes. Yuno breaks through dimensions with the help of Deus and comes back to reunite with her Yuki. If you enjoyed the recap, please consider liking and subscribing this channel. Have a wonderful day ahead.